Chapter 6 Study Guide Part 2. Preston is a member of the Stars Movie Club. His monthly cost and the number of movie rentals are shown in the table. Write an algebraic expression to represent the situation. So to do that, we have to do the change in y over the change in x, and we have to find the initial value, which is the b. So we have to do y equals mx plus b. So let's look here. The change in the y value. Look what's happening here. It looks like it's increasing 2 each time. So our change in y is 2. And our change in the x value, it's increasing by 1 each time. So our slope, or our rate, is 2 over 1, which is the same thing as 2. Then, to figure out the initial value, that's the cost in the beginning or up front. So with no rentals, it costs $2. So our algebraic equation is y equals 2x plus 2. Then we have to identify whether the function is increasing or decreasing and explain. Well, you can see here that each time a rental takes place, it increases. We're going up 2. So we would say increasing. So you could say something like as movie rentals increase, the cost increases. The more movies you rent, the more you're going to pay. Finally, give the least possible input values and give the corresponding output value. Explain what it represents in this situation. So that would be the least possible is going to be the 0 term, so right here, and the cost is 2. So then you would say up front you have to pay $2. So with no movie rentals, you'd have to pay $2. So you would explain what that represents. So there's a little explanation. The initial value, or the cost in the beginning, is $2. For number 8, we want you to draw a mapping diagram to represent a function. So it has to be a function. Every input has to pair with exactly one output. So this could vary your answers, but your choices are up to you. So you put your inputs here and put your outputs here. So if you want to just keep it simple, you could do like 1, 2, 3. And then you could have your outputs be 5, 10, and 15. Again, this will vary. And then you map it. You show that 1 pairs with 5, 2 pairs with 10, and 3 pairs with 15. There's other options that you could do to represent a function. Just make sure every input has exactly one output, and that's what we'll put in our explanation. Okay, so I put my explanation to this right above. I said this relation is a function because every input has exactly one output. Okay, here we have the graph. Shows Joe's car from town A over X hours. So look at Joe's car is 50, the distance from town. It's 50 miles from town. And it looks like it just stays put there the whole time. An hour goes by, 2 hours. 5 hours later, it's still in the same place. And then the table shows Mark's car over here. So you can see after an hour, it's 50 miles away. But then after 5 hours, it's 250 miles away. So that car is definitely moving. All right, so let's follow the directions here. We're going to first plot the graph to represent the function in the table above onto the same graph. So we're going to plot these ordered pairs onto this graph. Let me change it to, I'll go with blue. Okay, so 0, 0 would be here. This is Mark's car. Over 1 up 50. Over 2 up 100. Over 3, 150. 4, 200. So we're plotting it right on the same graph. 5 and 250. Okay, then we could connect those with a line. Okay, part 1 is done. Okay, now we're going to write an algebraic expression to represent each function of the graph. Okay, so let's do Joe's car first. Okay, so y equals something x plus something. Remember, it's the slope and the initial value. So the b, the initial value is 50. And you can see there's no slope here. It doesn't rise, it doesn't run. So there's no slope at all. 0 slope. Okay, next we have to write the equation for Mark's. I think your study guide might say Mike's. That's a typo. Okay, so Mark's car, let's see, Mark's car begins here, begins at 0. That's the initial value. You can also find it in the table. And then you have your choice. You can use the graph to do rise over run, or you can do delta y over delta x using the table. I'll show you both ways. All right, in the graph, I picked 2 ordered pairs that are consecutive and make a right triangle. Remember doing this? Rise over run. So it's rising 2 and running 1, but each block has a value of 50. So it looks like it's rising 50 and running 1. So 50 divided by 1, that's 50. Okay, or we could do the change in y. It's changing 50. And change in the x values, going up by 1 each time. Okay, so there's our 2 equations. Part C, which car has the greater rate of change? Well, the rate of change is the same as the slope, so that's right here above it. And that's going to be Mark's car, because his rate of change is 50, where Joe's car is not even moving at all. No rate of change. And then which car has the greater initial value? Well, that's the B. So that's these numbers right here. And that would be Joe's car. So Joe's car starts here. It's already 50 miles from town A. So Joe's car.